Sister found pleasure in driving the handy little vehicle, which burned less gas, but she still had to use farm trucks for work. She couldn't envision how that would change without driving the cost of food up to the point where there'd be bread riots like those that helped jumpstart the French and Russian revolutions. At the top of the steep hill, a flat green pasture beckoned, now silvery in May evening haze. In the middle of this lushness, surrounded by large trees, rested a 2-story Shaker house, perfect in its simplicity, and just beyond the house were horse trailers converted for hound use. Sister drove to the Jefferson Hunt trailer, proudly displaying the JHC logo, a fox mask with 2 brushes crossed underneath. Before she could step out of the car, Shaker Crown, her huntsman, a rugged, curly-haired man in his early 40s, dashed over to open the door. His Christian name had nothing to do with the Shaker sect. It had been his great-uncle's name, bequeathed to him at birth. "Boss, glad to see you," she teased him. "You're glad to see me because I brought sandwiches and drinks." Before the sentence was out of her mouth, he'd lifted the back hatch of the Forester to retrieve a large cooler. Tootie, a senior at Custis Hall, a private girls' secondary school, slipped out of the trailer's side door. "Food?" "You poor starved thing." Sister walked with Shaker as he plopped the cooler under the awning he'd set up off the side of the trailer. Inside, a high-covered fan ran to keep the 6 couple of hounds comfortable, a generator on the other side of the trailer providing the power. Kentucky could fool you in May, temperate one day and sweltering the next. Shaker and Sister put hound happiness before their own. Tootie, full name Ann Harris, sat down in a director's chair and Sister handed each of them a sandwich. "Are you tired?" "How can you be tired at 17? The young woman grinned. She was exceedingly beautiful. "Just hit a low plateau. After this," she held up the sandwich, "I'll be right back up." "Sure, you just can't keep up with an old lady in her 70s. "You're not 70 whatever." Shaker eagerly unwrapped his turkey sandwich. "Your mother lied on your birth certificate." "That's a joyful thought." Sister could smell the tangy mustard on her roast beef and cheese sandwich. "Isn't this the loveliest setting for a hound show? Sure, nothing's as spectacular as the Twin Peaks of the Virginia Hound Show or the Bryn Mawr Hound Show, but Shaker Village, well, to my mind, it's the best location." "That it is." Shaker had already devoured half his sandwich. "Glad I brought 2 of everything," said Sister. "I don't know why I'm so hungry." "Sometimes I think it cycles. Ever notice how your appetite and your sleep patterns change whenever the seasons change? At least mine does." Tootie listened, as usual soaking everything up while remaining quiet. "Yep, and I can't sleep during a full moon." "Get up and howl, do you?" Sister smiled at her huntsman, whom she loved. "I thought that was you." Tootie slipped that in. "Well, so much for respect from the young." Sister laughed, which made Dragon, a hound, howl. They all laughed. "Does Woodford," Tootie named the hosting hunt, "always have this show at Shaker Village?" "No. Actually, they used to have it over at the Kentucky Horse Park smack in the middle of Lexington when Iroquois Hunt ran it for 3 years. Shaker named the other hunt outside of Lexington, Kentucky. "The horse park is a hotbed of activity. What a draw it's become for tourists. Anyway, I sure hope Woodford keeps it here, even though it's half an hour from Lexington." Sister greatly admired Jane Weingartner, MFH of Woodford Hounds, whom she knew better than the 2 other joint masters, hard-hunting men. She always referred to Miss Weingartner as OJ, for the other Jane. A familiar voice sounded from behind the trailer. Hope Rogers, DVM, popped round and greeted them under the awning. "Party?" "Sit down, honey." Sister pointed to a director's chair. "When did you get here?" Hope, an equine vet specializing in lameness, most particularly navicular disease, kept to practice 5 miles from the Jefferson Hunt kennels. In her late 30s, she'd become a hot commodity in the equine world, being flown to Japan, Korea, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand.